Good evening, everybody. Please take your seat. We're going to get started in just a moment. My name is Mr. Spiegel. I'm the assistant principal here at the middle school. Welcome to the high school this evening. We're going to start with Charlotte and Ava and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. I just want to take a moment to thank our board members, our administration, our faculty, our staff for helping put this all together this evening. It's going to be a great night for our 8th graders as they embark on their final performance as a middle schooler before they go off into the high school. You're going to hear some amazing talent tonight that really stands out and really embodies the hard work of our music department and the daily grind they put in every day. So with that, I want to introduce our Director of Arts and Music, Dr. Waddle.
Thank you. As Mr. Spiegler said, thank you and welcome. It's always wonderful to be here. We have a wonderful concert in store for you. I had the opportunity to watch them dress rehearse yesterday and the day before. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful music. I think you're going to be very impressed with the level in which your children are performing. So look to your right, you see some red signs. Look to your left, you see some red signs. You look to the back, you see some signs. That's where you got to go when there's an emergency. Make sure that you know that. You've been with me now for quite some time. Your children are 8th graders, so you've heard me speak to you multiple times, so I'm not going to go crazy into my long-term speeches, but just be reminded that EI MAPS is here. They are the organization that supports our arts and music programs. They are always looking for volunteers and members to support our children throughout their entire career here at East Islip Schools. As I always talk about, I will share a funny story. Be present. Take your cell phones and put them away. This is the only time that you will watch this 8th grade concert. And as a parent that has a senior who's getting her dress fitted tonight for prom, trust me, you're going to miss this moment. So put your phones away. And I'll share, I was at my other daughter's musical, and there was a grandparent that started with their phone about 2 or 3 rows in front of me. And they started like this. It's like, okay, I can live with that. And then it started going like this. And then it started going like this, and then it's up here. And that ambient light was so distracting that the people around me were very frustrated. And my wife kind of encouraged me a little bit. And I went, and the phone fell out of her hands, and she got really angry, but everybody around her clapped. So just take that as a message that don't be that person. We have Frank, our technician. Let's give Frank a round of applause. He's live streaming. I know that we want you to be present. So how do we do that? We have a tradition that we've been live streaming for quite some time. As a family person, it's so nice to sit around the Thanksgiving table and talk to my nieces who are in Maryland and they're dancers and they're in volleyball, and we can talk about the things that they're doing because of these live streams. So I know that you can connect with your family across the country, across the world. It's really, really amazing. And last but not least, this is a concert in Rajeski Hall, not Metallica, not Slipknot, and it's not a football game. So don't scream and yell. They don't like that. Give them a standing ovation, okay? And please remember to support EI MAPS. And I know I thanked everyone, but we know you can't do this without a village, as they say. You know, our Board of Education supports everything that we do, everything your children do. We have a really strong administration at the district office level, our superintendent and assistant superintendents, as well as the most important people in the room, you. You support your children every single day. And I think each of you deserve a round of applause for supporting our program, so thank you. And at this time, I will introduce the 8th grade orchestra conducted by Miss Auditorium. Thank you so much.
We welcome you to tonight's concert.
Before we begin, we would like to thank everyone who made this night possible. Mr. Bernard and the high school staff for welcoming us into the high school and rehearsal spaces.
Mr. Manzo, Dr. Buraki, and the Board of Education for their constant support of our music program and schools.
Dr. Wadawa for taking care of all areas and organization.
The custodial staff for setting up our event and keeping everything clean.
Mr. Montemorano, Mr. Spiegler, and all of our teachers for their continued support through the school year.
Our music and arts support group, EI Maps.
And you, our families, for your love and encouragement as we continue to grow as musicians.
We hope you enjoy our performance. Please stay until the end of the show to support all these musicians who have worked so hard for tonight's performances.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to our spring concert. We are so excited to be here. We've been working so hard since January, and it's just been such a pleasure working with this group of students. I've worked with them for the last 3 years, some of them, 2 years with others, and just seeing how much they've grown, just as musicians and as people, has been so wonderful. They bring me so much joy every day in class. They're quite funny, a very entertaining bunch of students, and we have such a fun time every day, and I will truly, truly miss them next year once they go on to high school. We have been working so hard on this next piece.
and thank our concert crew, which are our middle school students and our high school students that volunteer their time to change the stage, change the chairs, the music stands, the choral risers, the sound shells, and usually with the high school students, I meet with them after school. So I want to give them a round of applause because they work really hard backstage. So this is going to be our 8th grade band conducted by Mr. Sotra. He is a lead replacement for one of our teachers, and I believe it is one of his first concerts, so it is an exciting moment for him. So, and he has been so fortunate to work with your children. He and I work together, and I work to mentor him, and he talks about how amazing it is to work with the students every single day, and I see that he's had a positive interaction with a lot of children, and it's nice to see him grow as a teacher. So I'm going to introduce the group now, and then I'm going to make sure they're finalized backstage. So you won't see me introduce them again, but we'll open the curtain. So without further ado, this is going to be our 8th grade band conducted by Mr. Soka. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Before we play our last piece, I want to thank all of the administrators, colleagues, and parents that I've worked with in East Islip for their constant support. I'd also like to thank these students sitting behind me for all of their help and patience through these last few months. It's been a pleasure teaching all of your children, and I wish them the best of luck next year at the high school. Our last piece is a piece that the students either loved from the very start, or they learned to enjoy as we learned it. Here's the music from the show Stranger Things.
First, say thank you so much for staying. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy your spring. I know this happens to be a bittersweet moment because it is your 8th grade last concert for the spring. And I know that's exciting and wonderful, but it's also another moment too here that the teacher, Miss Valacara, is going to be performing her last concert tonight. And she is retiring. And she is very excited to be a teacher here and have inspired children for many, many years. And I've worked with her for 10 years, and it's been wonderful to see her grow and support our children. So I want to say congratulations to her on her retirement, and I'm sure she'll say some words later on as well. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Miss Valacara and our 8th grade choir. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful spring.
That song, I particularly picked that one, I suppose, because when we start new chapters in life, as these young people are doing, they're going to the high school, and they'll be starting all kinds of wonderful adventures, and hopefully they'll be continuing their singing, and if they're not, they're going to be doing all sorts of wonderful things, and they'll be asking themselves the same questions. What was I made for? I think we all do at certain times in our lives, don't we? I might be asking myself the same question too, as I'm entering a new chapter. The next song that we're going to do is a song called Oceans and Stars, and it's kind of a metaphor. It uses the river and water for life. It travels and it's never really stagnant. It ebbs and it flows and it takes different paths and it never stays the same. And it's kind of about our life too. And then of course the last song we're going to do is popular, Found, which is from Hamilton, and another song, Tonight from Hamilton and Found from Dear Evan Hansen, which they love. So I thought we'd end with that tonight. And I want to thank you all for being with us this evening. And I want to thank all of the wonderful people that are staring at me outside there, that are sitting there, and Mr. Tucker, and all of these wonderful people that I've worked with throughout the years, and all of the students that I've had, and I've touched their lives in some way, and I'll never forget it. It's been just a wild ride, I'll tell you. Thank you so very much.
I was just told I'm going first. Good evening. It's been my pleasure to work with Lisa Falacara for the last few years. From the moment we were hired, Lisa has been a very welcoming presence in the music department. She goes above and beyond for her students, staying late to help them with their solos or chorus music, and is just generally having a really fun time in her classroom. Lisa's journey in East Islip actually started at Timber Point Elementary, where she would write such memorable arrangements of music that her former students now sing them to their own children today. Lisa, you will be missed in the office, to say the least. Lisa and I have bonded over our deep love of animals, and she has never turned down seeing any pictures of my cats, which there's quite a few of. And in turn, I do the same for her. She has been extremely supportive through my pregnancy, including fully embracing the ravenous cravings I have for donuts. I've really surprised myself every Friday with just how many donuts I can eat. So thank you, Lisa. Lisa, we love you, and we wish you nothing but the best in your next chapter.
I had the privilege of working with Lisa for the last 15 years at the middle school, and we've shared a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And one thing I will say about Mrs. Falacara is that you never know what's going to come out of her mouth. And if you notice, I don't have a speech in front of me, so payback. In all seriousness, she is such a kind lady, and she's so dedicated, and she always wants to do right by others, and I truly appreciated that throughout the years. And I remember the downs where we're here at 4:30 in the morning, and we booked 7 buses to Dorney, and they only sent 6. That was a lot of fun. And then the other time where we are sitting there, and I'm off to the side of the stage, and she gets on the microphone, and she's covering Mrs. Bryan because she was having a baby. She was about 9 months pregnant, and she was on maternity leave and maternity rest. And Lisa said, she's busy at home making a baby. And it's type of things like this that I got the privilege of dealing with for 15 straight years. And she's an extremely funny person and an extremely kind person. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do, and you will be missed.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Bryan. I teach across the street at the high school, and I had worked with Mrs. Falacara for many, many, many years, more than I can count. And I just want to wish her the best of luck. She makes me laugh probably harder than any other human on the planet. And the kids always have fun with her jokes and her humor. And you sounded beautiful tonight, which is a testament to your teacher. So thank you for being such a joy to work with all these years, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.